Joan give me a problem? Yeah, Little Joan kept me up last night. And I am. So if I seem a little low energy, her fault. Her fault. Damn it. All right, everything's copacetic over here. Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. What's going on in the news? Oh, right, this. Oh, LeMay is here. Hi. And Arden is here. Hey-o. Hey-o. Welcome. Welcome. By the way, this is the funniest video ever. Jay-Z. Hi, hi, hi. Everyone's here. Everyone's here right on time, gentlemen. I like punctuality. I like that. But this right here is a picture from the funniest video ever. Donald Trump making fries in Pittsburgh. Joan. No. So Little Joan kept me up all night. And now she's just annoying me. So Little Joan, the night before, my girlfriend says to me, "Hey, you want to go to this breakfast thing?" And I said, "Oh yeah, sure. I'm going to a thing at 10. Hey. All right. Joan, get lost. Done with Joan. Arden is here. I love the conspiracy theories around this already. Fake fries had to be helped, etc. Yeah, like who cares? This is the easiest photo op in history. Like Kamala Harris could have done this and beaten him to the punch, but she wouldn't do it. I don't mean she wouldn't think of doing it, although she didn't. I mean she would refuse to do it. Like if her team had come up with this idea, said, "Oh, let's show them that you did work at McDonald's, and you'll work at McDonald's for like an hour or whatever." JC, it's a stunt. The clips are cute. Yeah, of course it's a stunt. But it's a brilliant stunt. You know, I'm sure the store was closed. They couldn't have people coming in and out. Ardent, she wouldn't think of it. She'd say it was beneath her. Yeah, behind the scenes it'd be like, ew. Ew. In a McDonald's? With the peasants? There won't be peasants there, will there? Will you clean the place first? LeMay. My mom thought Trump should not have bothered because everyone knows Kamala is a liar, LOL. Oh, yeah, I think so too, but... You know, even my relatives who are backing Kamala, and they're still backing Kamala because they hate Trump so much, you know, they've given up on convincing me to vote for their candidate because I don't even think they want to vote for their candidate. They tried to convince me to just vote for someone else, anyone else, which is ironically my strategy on them and other people who are voting Kamala. My strategy is not to get them to vote Trump. It's to just say, don't vote for Kamala. Ardent. I guarantee he just wanted the free meal per shift. Yeah, probably. Probably. I tweeted on Twitter, bad news. Trump's boss has scheduled him for 3 shifts without checking with him, and if he doesn't show up to work, he's going to get fired. And that's hilarious because that's exactly what those people do. I worked at Burger King, so believe me, I know. You're working on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't want to work Friday. Well, you're working on Friday. Somebody has to. Well, I'm not coming. Oh, then you'll be fired. Good luck getting your paycheck. Kite is here. Sup, fellas? Sup? Not much. Not much, Kite. Just talking about Trump. And Little Joan kept me up all night again. I had a tough week, too. Well, not a tough week. A busy week. So I went to the Women's Club on Monday. They had a really nice facility. And they had cookies and whatnot. They really liked me. Then on Wednesday, I went to the Shipman Manor, or the Shipman Mansion, I should say, which was a pretty interesting historical place. It's not too far from my house. I didn't realize that. I thought it was further north, and it had some interesting stuff. Kite, I think I got the right email. You did. I haven't. I haven't had time to answer you. I'm sorry. I'm completely fried. So tomorrow I'm doing a thing on. I'm doing a talk, but it's virtual, so it'll be a lot easier. So I should be able to get caught up tomorrow. Sorry about that. It's been crazy. So yeah, I went to the Shipman Manor, and that place was really cool. It had a cannon, and it was the Shipmans were like part of a. They built ships. They were like a shipbuilding dynasty, and one of the guys who was a shipman who lived in the mansion convinced Kentucky to stay neutral during the Civil War, which I thought was interesting. I didn't realize Kentucky was neutral during the Civil War. And then had a great talk there, sold a lot of books. Then on Thursday, I went to Cassiano's in front of the coffee shop during the ghost tours that were in Hamilton. Kite, no, that is okay. I just unsure I had the right one. Take your time. Thank you. I appreciate that. On Friday, I had nothing going on because I had a last minute rescheduling. So me and the girlfriend went to a very nice restaurant. It was called Mona Lucia, and it was Italian. It was delicious. Then I went to Saturday. I went to the Unexpected Farm, which is an alpaca farm. I've been there many times, and sold a couple of books there. And then today I was at Brick Heroes Con. This is a new con from my friends Dan and Mary. It wasn't bad for a first time, for never doing it before in that space. It was okay. A lot of people came out to support the con. It filled up pretty decently, so I think that could be a winner if it keeps growing. That could be a real winner. Kite, hello there, Ardent. I hope you are well. Yeah, so tomorrow I got to catch up on stuff, and I should be able to. And what else happened? Some other stuff happened that just took up my days. It just normal sort of stuff. Personal stuff I can't really talk about. Nothing major. It was just things happen. And then, of course, Joan keeping me up all night. So if I'm a little off, that's why. What else? That's about it for this week. I mean, I'm doing like 1 million shows next week, so if you think I'm off now, wait till next week happens. Holy crap, I'm just gonna be completely fried. Ardent at Kite, I am. Hope you are similarly content. Kite at Ardent, I got re-addicted to Warframe. I need mental help. LOL. Ardent, going in for that intimate area piercing appointment? No, I'm not. Intimate area piercing appointment? No, I am not. I'm not even sure what that is. All right. The numbers this week, I haven't really looked at them, but last week, you may remember, a movie called Joker 2, in its second week, totally dive bombing. And it died. It just died. It dropped 82%. Arden at Kite. LOL, I have no sympathy. Currently playing Skyrim as usual. So Joker 2 nosedive. And it turned out last week while we were doing the stream, they estimate the Sunday ticket input. And Joker 2 was at 3. But when the actual tickets came in, it dropped to 4. So it got beat last week by Beetlejuice. So a real flop. I mean, it just flopped. All right. So this week, here are the numbers. First up Number one premiering, and this is no surprise, Smile 2, because Smile 1 did pretty good. So Smile 2 debuts at 23 million, which isn't bad for a horror movie. Could be a little beefier. 23 million overseas as well. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. But the interesting thing is number 2 is The Wild Robot, which is in its 4th week. So this movie's got some legs at 10.1 million. People are kind of liking this movie. It's a little cutesy. They've already announced a sequel, which I'm not surprised. Dropping from 1 to 3 is The Terrifier 3 at 9.3 million, a drop of only 51%, which isn't bad, and it got put in more theaters. And it's still not in as many theaters as The Wild Robot or Smile 2, so probably would be doing even better. I don't really get the appeal of Art the Clown. I just don't get it. It's just super bloody, man. So, not for me, but I mean, and then I saw a YouTube video of a guy dressed like Art the Clown, you know, leering at people and walking around with a hammer and a horn. And he stops this guy in the hood, and the guy just is cursing him out, but like he's kind of afraid of him, but he's kind of like overemphasizing that he's not. It's pretty funny. JC, Robot looks like a ripoff from a character from the old Ghibli movie, Castle in the Sky. Yeah, it's kind of like Wall-E, too. I mean, when you think about it. I mean, maybe Wall-E is close to that as well, right? He's a little environmental robot. Except Wall-E was picking up the trash and compacting it. The Wild Robot is going to a green world to befriend the animals or something. I don't know. It's not a movie, I would say. It looks boring. Looks boring and cute. At 4th place, dropping from 3. See, 3. Beetlejuice was 3 last week. Is Beetlejuice. 5 million. I don't. 7th week, it's still doing 5 million. I think this speaks more to the fact that the movies out are terrible than that Beetlejuice is that good. Indie Phantom. More horror topping BO. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of horror on this list. But it's, it's Halloween. So it makes sense. Makes sense. We Live in Time. So this is something that I think premiered last week and was only in 5 theaters. Now they try to do this to artificially bump it up. So they bumped it up like 980 theaters. It did like 4 million. Not sure what this is about. Let's see. JC, just the design of the Wild Robot. Looks like the robot from Castle in the Sky. It's pretty close. Indie Phantom, good work for Terrifier. Seasonal fun. Now we got a problem. Okay. Let's try the IMDb. We Live in Time. Andrew Garfield and Florence Pugh. Who? Looks boring. An up-and-coming chef and a recent divorcee find their lives forever changed when a chance encounter brings them together in a decade-spanning, deeply moving romance. Yeah, it sounds boring. Not for me. Not for me. Not doing well overseas. The numbers is currently locked up. JEC, Terrifier is current year's version of cheap old slasher flicks of the 80s. Yeah, and I never liked those. I never really liked Friday the 13th. The only one I kind of like is the ones when they start to get really stupid, like Jason Takes Manhattan and Jason 10, which is just, it's practically a parody. I never thought Freddy was all that good. It's okay. A couple of the jokes are sort of funny, but John Casalegio is here. Hi, John. This is that poo girl they're always pushing. Yes, Florence Pugh. Who? Um, yeah, they're always pushing her. I'm not quite sure why. She, you know what it is? It depends on the agency you have, right? If you have a really good agent, an agency that's backing you, you just getting stuff. They've got you stacked into movie after movie after movie. That's why Rachel Zegler won't go away. By the way, she is in the system, meaning that like the old studio system was the studio actually had contract players, actors who were on contract to be in whatever they wanted, which quite frankly is a slightly better system when you think about it, but they don't do that anymore. So now everybody's like a free agent, but they're kind of not a free agent because if you're not at the right agency, you're not going to get these movies. So now the studios have deals with these agencies, and those agencies have certain talent, and they're not going to open it up to the best talent necessarily. They're just going to open it up to their best talent. Indie Phantom, Florence Pugh, who is kind of stacked. Yeah, I don't mind her. I don't mind her. She's okay. Indie Phantom, short and sweet. Yes. But not particularly memorable. Like, she's kind of forgettable. You know? JC, Rachel Zegler's father is a producer. Well, there you go. All these actors they keep shoving down your throats are Nepo babies. Yes, that's a large part of it, too. But, you know, to get into those agencies, you need the right connections or whatever. So it's all part of a network. It always has been. You know, the most shocking thing about learning about this stuff back in the day was when I found out that in order to be in comedy, you really had to go to Harvard, which just blew me away because I never even thought about it. If I had known that, I would have only applied to Harvard. Like, I would have been super hyper focused to get into Harvard, which I don't know if I had much of a shot of, but I had pretty good grades, so I maybe had a shot at it. I did have scholarships and whatnot, but I had no idea until later. My friend who, after we graduated college, he got a gig on like a Nickelodeon. Oh, what the hell was that show? It was like the game show where they dumped goop all over you. I think he worked on that one for a while. Anyhow, he told me, oh yeah, there's a pipeline from Harvard, the Harvard Lampoon, right into comedy. He said, all the guys I work with, they all went to Harvard. And I'm like, to write stupid jokes about dumping goop on people's heads? And he's like, yeah. He's like, they're all from Harvard. And I'm like, but their jokes are terrible. He's like, I know. He's like, oh, you don't have to tell me. I work with these guys. So, yeah. So, the old networks. So, like, every fun job in show business is locked up by these people because they want to have all the fun. And forget the talent. I mean, some of them are talented. Don't get me wrong. There are some guys who are talented. And some of the talent, quote unquote, can be learned. You know, you can learn how to write comedy up to a point. You kind of have to be funny to begin with. You kind of have to have some inborn talent, but there is a lot of it that you can learn and be functionally good at it. But LeMay, what? Yeah, exactly. Storebang is here. Slasher movies without nudity should be illegal. I agree. As a fellow child of the 80s, yes. That's the first thing I asked my friend who saw Terrifier 3. I said, how much nudity was in it? He's like, none. You don't even get to see any boobies. I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's a movie that should have had boobies in it. In fact, there's a shower scene in it. I can't believe there's no boobies in it. And I saw part of that shower scene, and I just assumed they cut out the boobies for the scene I saw on YouTube. JC, unfunny intellectuals writing dumb jokes for television with fourth graders? That must be some kind of personal hell. The secret of comedy is, says Ardent, right now, timing. Yeah, it's my personal hell. Because as soon as I understood that the comedy network ran through Harvard, it all fell into place. Now, like in the 80s, so many people were doing comedy. The bar was much higher and things were relatively good. And you had people from, the 60s and 70s who were actually good at their jobs. They came up during a different time period. But yeah, like the elder statesmen of comedy now, man, they ain't worth a damn, in my view. A lot of them, a lot of really funny guys are just dead. Indie Phantom, more boobs is a must. I agree. Ardent, more boobs, more slapstick, more innuendo. For slasher movies, yeah, I mean, look, they're stupid. At least make them fun. Instead, they're just mean. Like, it's not that I'm even afraid of all the blood. It's just gross and doesn't do anything for me. And I kind of worry about people who it does do something for. If you're getting a boner in the Terrifier, you should seek help. Indie Phantom, the SNL movie seems like 30 years too late. Exactly what I said. Right on the money. 30 years too late is about right. These things run in cycles of about 20 to 30 years. In 95, it would have been a perfect time to do the Saturday Night Live movie. 20 years after, oh yeah, would have been perfect. You could have interviewed all the cast. Most of them were still alive at that time. Now, the show is literally the show is literally celebrating its 50th anniversary next year. Its 50th anniversary. That is way too long. It's so far past its prime. I used to complain about the damn show when Will Ferrell was on it. I complained about the show when, even during the Eddie Murphy years. I liked Eddie Murphy on the show, and I liked Joe Piscopo, but some of the other guys I didn't like as much. And after that, I mean, like the year that Gilbert Gottfried was on Saturday Night Live, and a lot of people don't remember that, but he was actually the only funny guy of that era, kind of. But man, the rest of the cast, I mean, Janine, they took Chris Elliott. Chris Elliott, to me, is one of the funniest guys who's he's just so funny. They put him on the show and actually somehow sucked the comedy out of him. If I had hired Chris Elliott to work on Saturday Night Live in his prime, I just would have said, let Chris take about, half the show and do whatever the hell he wants. He's utterly insane. This guy developed a TV show based on a guy who was a grown adult who was still a newspaper boy. Get a Life is one of the best. Watch every episode of Get a Life. It's brilliant. John Casalegio. I'm sure it's more than just Harvard, but I know you can't say it. I mean, that's the network. I mean, there's some other colleges in it, to be sure, but it's it's always an old boys network, and anything there where there's lots of money or that people just want it, right? And look, it's not just rich people doing this stuff. I'll give you an example where I saw poor guys do this, guys who should have known better, in my view. So you guys remember Magic cards, Magic the Gathering, right? So I got cards back there somewhere. Magic the Gathering, I actually interviewed Richard Garfield, the inventor of the game, at Comic Fest 93, it was, on my old TV show. This was like 30 years ago. And he told me back then, we printed about 1 million cards. We don't think we'll need more than that. But the game exploded, and I knew some of the artists for Magic cards, right? And initially, because the game, initially they took it to TSR, and TSR turned it down. So Richard Garfield somehow got his own money, or used his own money, maybe got investors, I don't remember. But he printed the cards and launched the game on his own, under his own imprint, Wizards of the Coast. And the game freaking exploded. But to get the high quality artwork he wanted, he gave the artist a royalty on the cards. So these artists were making crazy money, like insane money for trading card illustrators. The game exploded. I mean, they were printing billions of cards. But what happened was the guys who got in early, I heard through a guy who worked with them, started to create sort of a understanding between the other artists that they weren't going to let anybody else in because they were making too much money. The only new artists who could get in had to be approved by the already existing artists. You see how it works? So here's a bunch of guys who are finally making money, but their first thought is, oh, we got to cut out all the other artists. Now, in their defense, some artists are tough to deal with, and I don't blame them to some extent. Like, yeah, there's certain guys you don't want to work with in that world. But you see the first instinct of people, oh, we got to protect our money, we got to protect our thing. So they did that, but then at some point, the game was doing so insanely well, and I guess Garfield eventually sold his stake in it or part of it, and it got all corporate. And the corporate guys came in and said, hey, you're paying out all these royalties. You know what would be cheaper? Let's redo all the artwork. We'll pay book illustrators $1,000 a pop, and we can get rid of all these royalties. And that's what they did. So I heard. I think that's relatively accurate. JC, all the best horror movies are very camp. A lot of them are, or at least they have that sort of campy feel at times. Ardent, Gilbert was on SNL. He absolutely was. His best sketch was, he did this sketch about struggling. He was a struggling comic in New York, and he couldn't afford an apartment, so he lived inside a revolving door. And each section of the revolving door was like a room in his apartment. So he was asleep in one, and then another one was his kitchen, and another one was his bathroom. It was funny. And he wasn't doing the voice then, the Gilbert voice. How you doing? Like, he wasn't doing that yet. His voice was different. He was really young, but he wasn't on that long, and he didn't get to be in much. Indie Phantom. Most young people have no clue who Chase and Belushi are. Cabin Boy also hurt Elliot. Yeah, that's true, but at that time, they still were, they were giving out 3-picture deals. I know Cabin Boy didn't do well. It's still crazy, that movie. It's so weird as hell. I don't think you should be ashamed of Cabin Boy, by the way, because it's just so weird. It's funny because it is weird, but it's not really a coherent movie. But yeah, almost nobody. Well, people know who Chevy is, I think, because of the vacation movies, and he's still around and pops up once in a while. But Belushi, no. Belushi was the absolute king. He was the absolute king of comedy back in the day. He was so damn funny and talented. Storebang, the Charles Rocket, Lorraine Newman era was pretty weak too. Were they on the show together? I know Charles Rocket said F you on live TV one time. He got in a lot of trouble. That was a terrible, terrible season. Was Lorraine still on then? Ardent, JC LOL, one of the Discords I'm in has been running a weekend Leprechaun series the last while. Those are cheesy and camp. Yeah, those are pretty funny. Those I think are fun. Indie Phantom, young'uns not knowing who Mel Brooks and Monty Python are hurts me. Yeah, but they kind of know because their movies, a lot of them are kind of timeless, and they eventually just stumble upon them. LeMay, one of my professors worked on magic. Oh, yeah? I bet he was a mathematician, I'm guessing. LeMay, he used to be an artist for Sierra Online and was getting extremely laid back. He loved painting. Oh, wow, he was a painter. JC, artists are hard to work with? Damn you. He wrote in all caps. Some are, JEC. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Ardent, comedy history will be lost. JEC. Oh, yeah, I saw Cabin Boy. It's not great. It's bizarre, though. John, Casaligio at Tony, what is your favorite all-time movie? Oof, that is a tough question to answer. I mean, Animal House is a movie. I think it's probably Animal House. It's the kind of movie that if it comes on in the room I'm in, it kind of hypnotizes me, and I can't stop watching it until somebody turns it off. Like, if you wanted to distract me, putting on Animal House is a really easy way to do it, because I'll just be like, because I love that movie. Every scene is just cracks me up. JC, bizarre, but not in a good way. I don't know. I like Chris Elliott to me is the guy who sort of innovated meta comedy to some degree, like stuff that's so weird and stupid. It's funny because it's purposely lame and weird and stupid. But he did it in a fun way that I liked. But the guys who came after him, not so much. JC, A Clockwork Orange is my favorite. That is a great movie. Yeah. North by Northwest is another one for me, too. North by Northwest is a real hard movie for me not to watch. John Casaligio. Wow, didn't expect that. I don't think I saw AH all the way through. Really? Really? Oh, you missed some of the best scenes. You missed the scene where Otter goes to the hotel and he thinks he's meeting a hot chick, but instead it's the guys from the rival house, and he's got a bouquet of flowers, and he walks in thinking he's going to get laid, and he goes, "I've got it's Mr. Thoughtful with a bouquet of flowers for," and then he sees them, "You," and they slam the door and they sort of trap in the room, and he's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, I don't have enough flowers, so some of you boys will have to share. And then they beat the hell out of him. His delivery on that just kills me. Indie Phantom Body Double by De Palma is my fave movie. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. I like a lot of Alfred Hitchcock too. Besides North by Northwest, the other ones as well. Indie Phantom Clockwork Orange is excellent. I like The Shining too. JC, I like the scene where they sing Shout. Oh, that's fun. And I like the follow-up to that is when they go to the nightclub where Otis and the rest of the band are playing, and they're trying to be friends with the band because the band had played in the frat house, but now they're in their club with all their actual friends, and they don't want to know the frat boys, and and Pinto screaming, "Hey, Otis!" And like Otis is just looking at him like, "Hey, your friend. We should be leaving. What a good idea." Storebang, To Catch a Thief. That's pretty good. JC, Phantom of Paradise is my favorite De Palma film. That's kind of good. I like that. You know what I like? I like the original Salem's Lot. That movie's scary. That's a freaky movie. That, to me, that's one of the best vampire movies ever made. It's the original Salem's Lot. Holy crap. That movie's freaks me out. I don't know why they well, I kind of know why they remade it. It's because there's too much money in it, but the original's so good. Yeah, you know what I really like too is The Third Man. Orson Welles' The Third Man. It's a movie that's so ahead of its time. It's mind-blowing. Also, A Touch of Evil is another movie like that too. Kite. Fave film has to be Jurassic Park. So much nostalgia. And now that I'm reading the book, I equally wish they'd follow more closely, and glad they didn't. LOL. Yeah, that's kind of what they say about The Shining too. Because Stanley Kubrick cut out the hedge maze animals. Like in the book, the hedge maze animals come to life and chase people, but Kubrick just killed it. John Casaligio, my fave is La Dolce Vita. Ooh, very exotic. Indie Phantom, Hitchcock for me is Rear Window. Yeah, it's so good. Psycho, Shadow of a Doubt. I mean, Everything he made was really good, except Rope. But I mean, Rope is a really good failed experiment. JEC, love The Third Man. Great soundtrack. I mean, it's just so ahead of its time. It's just mind blowing. Um, and I saw Orson Welles' last film that he hadn't finished it, but they cobbled it together based on his notes. It's really weird. I forget what it was called now. Something with the word wind in it. It's really bizarre, but very interesting subtext. It's like you can see the ideas starting to form. He hadn't quite finished. JC, A Clockwork Orange is very close to the book. All the dialogue is basically the same. Frenzy is my favorite Hitchcock. I mean, you just can't go wrong with a good Hitchcock movie. You really can't. And you know what? The TV show is great too. If you've ever seen the episodes of the Alfred Hitchcock Presents, is amazing. JC, I like Rope. Marnie is Hitchcock's worst movie I've seen. It's just that Rope's so distracting, but it is good. Um, yeah, I mean, I could just go on and on with movies. Unforgiven, I really like Unforgiven. And I tell you, I really liked Old Henry. That was a great movie too. I like a lot of westerns. Indie Phantom, best 3D movie I've seen in 3D is Dial M for Murder. I saw Jaws 3D with Michael Caine. That movie's pretty funny. Indie Phantom, Frenzy is good and sleazy. JC, the documentary about the making of Wells's last movie is probably better than the actual movie they released, I feel like. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's kind of all over the place, but you're like, it's interesting to watch because there are these ideas you could, I mean, there's various competing theories about what he was trying to do with it. And it was interesting to me because, like, I'm being a screenwriter, I'm always of the mode like you work out all the bugs in the story in the script first. Like you polish the screenplay, you don't polish the movie. But that's the way guys like Wells and Kubrick worked. They shot scenes and then they kind of went through them and edited them and like would cut out dialogue here and there, go reshoot things. So for them, it was almost like they were writing the movie by shooting it, which I find kind of fascinating. JC, Frenzy is is his last great movie. He goes back to his roots, doing a very English movie. Yeah, I guess. Meh. I just like it all, you know. I mean, you see movies today and you just go, "What the f?" You know, and again, getting back to the list, Joker 2, Filet et Deux. How do you go from the first Joker movie to this? How do you do it? I mean, it's just unbelievable, the drop off. It's almost like he didn't really direct it and somebody else did, and then they said, oh, we can't have this. Fire that guy. Make somebody else direct the movie, and Todd Phillips can take charge of it. Like, or take credit for it. Like, is that what happened? I mean, how does he go from a $1 billion movie that everybody talks about and thinks is amazing to this? Everybody hates this movie. Like, I don't see people defending it at all. Like, not at all. Not anybody that seems to be real. And you're going from 4 to 6. So it started at 1, it drops to 4, and then it drops to 6. It's dropping like a rock, minus 69%. It's down to 2.1 million. I mean, look, think about that. Beetlejuice is in its 7th week. It still made $5 million. It should be like that, easily. You know, Wild Robots in its 4th week made $10 million. Joker, 3rd week, 2.1 million. It's pathetic. JC, I rewatched White Zombie with Bela Lugosi. It's my favorite Lugosi movie. Oh, boy. I don't know if I've seen that one. I don't think I have. Indie Phantom. People defending Joker 2 are coming off as pretentious, but there are some in my feed. I mean, I guess. I mean, I could see Gaga fans defending it just because they like her, but it just boggles the mind to me. And like, here it is in its third week, and it had to be dropped from over 1,200 theaters. I mean, that's crushing. It's crushing that this movie, with 4 times the budget of the first movie, you got more money, dude. How do you make a worse movie with more money? Same dudes. Same dudes. I mean, it's mind-boggling to me. White Zombie is public domain. You can watch it on YouTube. It's super fun. Ooh, I'll have to check that out then. Maybe I'll review it. That would be fun. Review an old movie like that. This movie wasn't even in color. So yeah, Joker 2 continues to be a fascinating failure. What's it up to? I think they said it was up to 192 million. Yeah, 192 million. Its budget is 200 million. It may not make its budget. I don't know. Maybe the foreign, the international box office might save it. But geez, and that's a telltale sign too that the box office overseas didn't like this thing. Although UK seems to like it okay. 11.3 million. That seems kind of high. 8 million in Germany. 7.6 million in Mexico, huh? It's not in China. Oh, here it is in China. There's no numbers on it yet. Kite. Only 2 ways. Spite and complacency. JC. White Zombie is a good review for Halloween. It's only like an hour long, too. Oh, cool. I like it even better that it's short. JC. Hell, you can watch it on stream and riff on it. Ooh, that might be fun. Maybe we could do that next week. That might be fun. I guess YouTube wouldn't have anything to say about that, right? Would they cancel me for that? Would they shut me down over that? Come on. Numbers. Oh, numbers. I wonder if I can play the whole thing and watch it with you guys. That could be fun. JC, audience was young men who don't like musicals or Lady Gaga. They were already ready to jump ship. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it feels very much like a sabotage. Not just for that, but the way it was rolled out and the way it was delivered, like everybody's saying. To me, it betrays its own audience. So I can't think of anything worse for a movie. Like, you can make a sequel and, it's just not that great, and that's fine. You try. Something that's genuine and honest, it's fine. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but, I mean, I'm sure there's one out there, but, you do a movie to purposely slight your audience and tell them how stupid they are? It makes no sense. But, I mean, look, what do you say when the money truck comes to your house? Indie Phantom, The Bad Seed is a good old school flick for Halloween. I've seen The Bad Seed. I dated someone who, she was a big fan of that, and that should have been a red flag. But it was a very good movie. She showed it to me. I'm like, oh, this is a good movie. And then I got a little scared. Number 7, dropping from 5, Piece by Piece, 2.1 million. I'm going to do it. Open the window this way, just in case it gets stuck again. I forget what this is about. Uninterested in making traditional film about his life. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Pharrell Williams' movie. It's a Lego version of Pharrell Williams' documentary for some reason. Transformers 1, a totally unnecessary movie, is at 1.9 million. Dropping from 6 to 8. I don't get that one at all. JC, bad seed will get you in trouble with YouTube. Yay, big red flag. Good performance from that little girl, though. Yeah, she's amazing in it. And then number 9, dropping from 7, Saturday Night Live, or Saturday Night, at 1.8 million. And it's only at 7.6 million. Like, if you told me you were going to do a movie about Saturday Night Live, you know, back when it was even moderately funny, I would have been like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be so funny. Because I read the Saturday Night Live book, and there's so many crazy things that happen behind the scenes. So they did a sketch using the a certain motorcycle club's colors. I'll say, I won't say which one, but they used the actual colors, and that doesn't sit well with the club. So some representatives came by the Saturday Night Live offices and demanded the colors. And so it was Dan Aykroyd, because he was the motorcycle guy. And I forget who else. I want to say Lorne Michaels and possibly Doug Ebersol went to the motorcycle club's hangout to hand them the colors. And then Dan proceeded to be really, because he was so into motorcycles, he knew all about their sort of lifestyle. And he just went on and on about, oh, you guys are the last outlaws, and you guys are real men, you're so cool, kind of thing. And because of that, you know, they smoothed it all over. But I thought how awesome of a scene would that have been? With Dan Aykroyd going into the lion's den. And then also, another story with Aykroyd was he got really mad for some reason. I forget why. I think they thought they were going to be canceled. And Aykroyd broke into the Saturday Night Live offices, and he had a like a pick, and he was there all night carving, like he carved out like the drywall, and carved patterns in the drywall in the hallways of Saturday Night Live. He spent hours doing it, like spent all night doing it, and you know, damaged everything. But the next morning they came in and saw it, and you know, eventually they fixed it all. But it was just a weird moment. And then of course Belushi was totally out of control. They did a live show, I think in New Orleans one time, and Belushi got so wrecked he couldn't go on stage. So he was in his hotel room, and they're trying to wake him up. And well, first they were trying to find him because he just didn't answer. And eventually they figured out he was in the room, and then they got him out, and then they used a police escort to get him to the show on time. And for some reason, he was riding on the roof of the patrol car, and then he got there, and he was just wasted out of his gourd, but he did the show anyway. And there's so many other things. JEC, who's Pharrell Williams? Pharrell Williams, the guy who sings "'Cause I'm happy." Do 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 do. 'Cause I'm happy. That guy. Woody Allen's kid. Does the Lego moist each other? Indie Phantom, Saturday Night is also a weak title for it. Yeah, it's like I think what's his face, Jason Reitman. He's fine enough filmmaker, but he likes things more low energy. I don't think he should be doing these big comedies. I don't think he should be doing comedy, period. I don't think he should be doing Ghostbusters. Just because his dad did Ghostbusters, it's like he's reluctantly doing these big comedy title movies related to his dad's work and people he worked with. it doesn't seem like his heart's in it. Really, it's so like four notches below where it should be. It should be like way up here. Like Saturday Night should have been like the craziest movie ever. It should have been nothing but insane stories about the cast behind the scenes and their most famous sketches recreated. That's a whole that would have been the whole movie for me. And then they all die. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And then like Ghostbusters should have been funny as hell. It's okay-ish. It's just, I don't know. Indie Phantom. Apparently, it's done in real time. It's a movie though. Like, okay, you don't get that feeling in a movie. Like maybe if you're watching it on TV, but even Saturday Night Live, it's done live. But then there's cue cards, and there's a 5-second delay or whatever, so they can head off any bad words. There's almost no spontaneity to the show, even though it's live. It should be live. It should actually be live. There should be tons of mistakes in it. Then you would know it was live. JC. Time to do an SNL movie would have been like 2006, 2008, when bio movie slop was popular, like Walk the Line and Ray Charles movie. Yeah, or right before that. 20 years would have been, 20 or 25 years to me would have been the sweet spot. So either a 95 or 2000. John Casalegio, he was obsequious and phony. In other words, Pharrell Williams. I'm saying it wrong. Yes, Pharrell Williams. JC, not ready for prime time. The SNL story. That's a good title. John Casalegio. SNL has been overrated in my opinion. It appeals only to NYC liberals. Yes, now. You have to understand, in 75, there was nothing like it on TV. But it was a completely different time period. TV was sort of boring and very staid, and Saturday Night Live was like the craziest show on TV at the time. Now it's nothing, but in 75 it was, and that's what you'd have to show in a movie about the original Saturday Night Live. Like, you'd have to show how boring regular TV was, and how like nobody working in TV wanted it to be anything other than news, sports, and boring narratives that were mostly like plays that appealed to Midwestern housewives. The first episode of Saturday Night Live, and if you go to like the Wikipedia entries, you could see the guest. I mean, George Carlin was on it at a time when he wasn't at the height of his fame. He was still like an edgy hippie doing stand-up. They had puppets on. It was nuts. The first few episodes are absolutely insane. It's like some late night show that, and this was popular in the 70s and 80s. You turn on TV after midnight, and it was like nobody cared what was on. And it was cool because they'd play all sorts of music, and they'd have interviews, and it wouldn't be like naked people running around or anything, but it was about the closest thing you'd get to something that was cool on television at that time. Because keep in mind, we had no internet. You have to understand, we had no internet. So this was the coolest thing you could see, short of something in life. JEC, the SNL movie was made like Rope. No, I think they made it. It was all about the wind up to the first show, and then it goes on. Kite. Pharrell is Pharrell. Indie Phantom. Also, the SNL movie looks totally like a streaming thing. Yeah, at best. At best, it's streaming. The Nightmare Before Christmas. Back in theaters. Smart move by Disney. 1.1 million. I would totally do this, especially now because Disney seems to have nothing. Perfect time to release it. 1.1 million. Number 11 is The Substance, $878,000, going out of theaters. I kind of want to see this on streaming. I want to be able to turn it off, though. I didn't want to go see it in theaters because then I feel obligated to sit through the whole thing if it's too gross. Number 12, Hocus Pocus, also back in theaters. How many times are they going to do this? This is the second time they put it back in theaters. LeMay, did you catch a commercial of the performing artist dragging himself through glass? No. Where is that on? JC, I would have waited a week until Halloween, but sure. Yeah. They might have something else lined up. I don't know. Number 13 is The Apprentice. Not doing well. In its second week, dropped 58%. But that's not saying much. If it only did like 1.3 million. It's just not doing well. 3.5 million. That's not going to make its money back, I would say. I mean, Sebastian Stan had to be at least a couple of mil. I mean, there's not that many actors that look like Trump. JEC, Roy Combs was right. I think you mean Roy Cohn. I would say no. He was kind of a whacked out dude, which is why they keep tying him to Trump. But just because a guy's whacked out and ruthless doesn't mean you listen to everything he says. I mean, you could look at you and say Roy Cohn was Trump's mentor in some respects, but so what? Trump didn't have to take everything from him. You know, people read Machiavelli, but you can learn something from Machiavelli by reading The Prince. John Casalegio, The Apprentice was not filmed to make money. It was just to denigrate Trump. Yeah, it's propaganda. So it was doomed to not make any money. LeMay, some nutty artist bought an ad slot and put his art on it back then. Oh, wow. I don't remember seeing that, no. JC, hated communists. How bad could he be? Well, he did not have a good reputation, but sure. I mean, but back then it was okay to hate communists. That was the default position of everybody. So that he hated communists may have just been him going along with the crowd to get what he wanted. John Casalegio, I really don't think that studios care if their movies make money. It's the message. Well, some of them do and some of them don't. I think they care to make enough money. In the case of Disney, I think they see it now as, well, we're going to make, one of our movies is going to hit for $1.5 billion, right? But if we lose $200 million here or there, then it's no big deal because we write it off on the profit we made on $1.5 billion. So they don't want to pay taxes, that's for sure. And I contend that all the budgets are completely overblown in order to facilitate part of that. So they don't actually pay out all the money they're paying out. So when they say the Joker is $192 million, the budget, that's probably not true. Because what they may be doing is sort of double dipping, where the studio technically owns the sound stage and the equipment, right? But they put it under a like different division, and then that division bills the studio, and then like it's like the studio pays for the rental, but really it's just paying itself and then paying taxes on the money it made in a smaller way, but then writing off the bigger expense on the movie. It's complicated, but it's something like that, I think. JC, he was smeared by commie leftists who hated him because he was based. It's possible, looking back on it. Joan, I hear you whining down here. What's wrong, Joe? What's wrong? Okay? You all right? What's wrong? All right, you got to be a good pup, okay? Um, so they do all sorts of things with the money in LA. I suspect it's way more complicated than that, but and I suspect too that one hand washes the other, right? So if a studio in Hollywood is willing to make a piece of propaganda for certain people in government, then they're going to look the other way on their IRS forms and not care that they're writing off millions and millions and millions of dollars that maybe they're lying about or exaggerating. JC, friends of mine who work in the industry say the idea that marketing is double on top of the budget is BS. The marketing included in these giant budgets, you see. Well, what I heard is this. So, there are certain people on the movie you want to reward handsomely, right? So, and this got exposed somewhat in the Coming to America lawsuit. I forget who brought it. The guy who brought it was sort of a consumer guy / screenwriter. He had written a very similar screenplay, pitched it to Paramount. Paramount basically, according to his lawsuit, stole the idea, and then I think he won the lawsuit. But part of what he did was he got Discovery. And then part of what they discovered was this sort of cooking of the books. So when they do the marketing of a movie, part of the thing they do is it's like shooting the movie again. So, for instance, Eddie Murphy was promoting Coming to America. But it wouldn't just be, they would pay Eddie to do that. But they wouldn't just pay Eddie. Eddie had all these riders in his contract that required he have an entourage, that he have a personal trainer, and a hairdresser, and a makeup person, and a trailer, and this huge entourage of people who would also all be paid, and food and all expenses paid while he's promoting the movie. So it's not no expenses. It can get very expensive when you're talking about shipping dozens of people, like every major celebrity that's in the movie of any note who's going to be flying around the country, depending. Back in the day, you would do more flying because the internet wasn't as quick or didn't exist at all. But you would go to different markets and you would cut promos in person, and you would do these interviews with big markets, right? So these days you would send a celebrity to like LA, New York, Chicago, and some of the other big markets, and they would get interviewed by the big news guys there, the entertainment people or whatever. Now, maybe these days you don't necessarily have to fly them and spend that money. You could do it on a Zoom call or whatever, but it's not quite the same. And then there's also the film festivals. You would fly people out to Cannes and they would get all the same thing. So it's just like, when you think about the expense of, say, shipping dozens of people to Paris or Cannes for the big Cannes festival, and then they all got to fly, they all got to have hotel rooms, all the food's paid for, everything's paid for, and they're getting paid on top of that, and they can stay like for a couple of weeks, and you're paying them overtime for the weekends because they're working then too, because Eddie needs his staff 24/7. You're talking a lot of money. Now, will it get into the $200 million range? Probably never, but it can get up there. First class accommodations. The celebrity's got to have a car and a driver and bodyguards and all these things, and he's got to have top line food and top line hotel, and maybe you need some other people that I'm forgetting, like photographers and people to do all kinds of things that maybe are a little unsavory behind the scenes. So, and his agent and his writer and his mom and his dad are coming too. You know, it's just balloons. JC, I mean, thousands of ads on television and billboards would get expensive quick. Yeah, and there's that too. And in other parts of the world, that expense is different because the rules are different. So when you do, say, billboards in, I don't know, India, like in the United States, there's certain rules. Billboards can't be everywhere. But like in India, you know, I don't know, they could maybe slap them on the sides of buildings and stuff, like the old poster, you know, plaster poster deals. And so they got guys running around the street doing that. And, you know, it can get even crazier because the rules are so lax, they can do all kinds of other things. Or they, you know, there's, I forget what movie it was. It was an Eddie Murphy movie where they built a giant Eddie Murphy to promote the movie. I think that movie bombed too. It was a giant, like, mechanical Eddie Murphy. Ardent Toucans. Friends? Ardent, sorry, I'll go beat myself in the corner. Indie Phantom, sounds like a total cons job. Anyhow, continuing, Joan. Continuing. After Hocus Pocus and The Apprentice, you got Deadpool and Wolverine still in theaters in its 13th week. They put it in 535 more theaters. So this is how well this movie's doing. It's in its 13th week, and they put it back into more theaters. That's probably because Joker 2 did so poorly. They said, screw it, put Deadpool and Wolverine back in, because at least people are seeing that movie. Number 15 is Goodrich. This is a movie with Michael Keaton in the lead. It looked okay. It's in 1,000 theaters. Just premiered. $650,000. That doesn't bode well. My Hero Academia, the movie. Don't care. $650,000 in its second week, dropping by 78%, but it's a cartoon. It's an anime thing, so yeah, it's... I'm surprised it's not doing better overseas. It's only did 17 million overseas. It did 4 million here. Anora. This is an interesting movie. I talked about this. Ardent. I've watched Deadpool and Wolverine twice. Would again. It's a good movie. Fun. But Anora is an interesting movie because they interviewed the lead actress, and she was against intimacy coordinators. Said they were stupid, basically, and that she didn't need them, and they didn't use them for the movie. And I gotta say, the trailer looked pretty good. It looked really natural. There you go, Joan. Now, she spent all that time crying to get on my lap, and the moment she got on my lap, she wanted to get down. Joan, go do whatever you need to do. I won't get mad. On camera. So, yeah. Anora looks kind of like a cool romance. And I say that as someone who doesn't really like romance movies. LeMay, people hated the ending of My Hero Academia. I don't know. I haven't watched a single episode of it. But yeah, so if you need a date movie, Anora might be the way to go. 540,000. Ardent, yeah, intimacy coordinator sounds like the most useless position around people who are supposed to be able to act. All it's really for, I think, is to have somebody to blame if there's an incident. So this way, the studio and the producers and the director go, oh, it's not our fault. Talk to the intimacy coordinator. She dropped the ball. So, but yeah, it's got to really, really interrupt the actors. And again, back in the 70s, 60s and 70s, it was all about nudity and free love, baby. So the actors were, yeah, they were hot to do something naked and sexual. And if you were the two leads and two romantic leads, you're probably going to do something together just to have that body language of two people who did it already and are in love. And it's not to say everybody should do it or they should be forced into it, but it kind of came with the territory to a certain degree, or at least that was the vibe back then that I heard. Now, I wasn't in a romantic lead with anybody, and I wouldn't expect that if I was, especially now, but you got to see why that would be the case, right? If you had two beautiful people who were single anyway, and you're going to be touching each other in the movie or the play or whatever the hell you're in, what would be the big diff? But if, one of them's in a relationship or both of them's in a relationship or one's married or both married, that could be a huge problem. But I don't think if you're an actress and you're going to be a romantic lead and you're really sketchy about people touching you, maybe acting is not the right job for you, because I've done a lot of acting exercises for improv, and let me tell you, some of it gets weird and touchy and feely. And at first, when I did some of them, I would make jokes, and at some level I thought, okay, now I kind of understand why they do this, because it does loosen you up to a certain degree. It is weird though. It's very weird, and it's a little too. It can be very uncomfortable. I'm just gonna say it. It can be real super uncomfortable, but it can also be, once you've sort of done that, and not that we did anything that weird. We weren't naked or anything, but after you've done that, then when you're doing a scene with your scene partner and you got to play like boyfriend and girlfriend, or you just got to touch each other for some reason, it makes it easier. So if you've never, say, put your arm around like if you're taking a picture, like this weekend I took pictures with people who wanted to take my picture because they got a book signed and they're like, oh, take a picture. So there's always that moment where you got to be careful touching people because they're strangers to you, right? You don't want to do hover hands, all right? I don't want to do that. But I'm perfectly fine putting my hands on people's shoulders or even their waist. But you got to be careful with a stranger, because you go a little too low, whoopsie, it could be a problem. Somebody could go, hey, you don't want that. So you do that if you're a bunch of actors. You do that stuff ahead of time, and then you won't have that awkwardness. Indie Phantom, how do I get a job as an intimacy coordinator for Sydney Sweeney? No, that's not the job you want, my friend. The job you want is body makeup guy, because there are guys who do the body makeup. But can you do the body makeup with a boner? Ardent, LOL. LOL, Colin Mockery. Kite, that's why Keanu Reeves does hover hands. Yes. You got to be careful, because you never know. People they get weird. Especially in public, and especially if they want to be weird. Like some people, I was telling stories last week about some odd people I ran into at shows, and they're just being weird for lots of attention. So you touch them, they say, oh, get a picture, and they seem pretty casual, and then you put your hand in the wrong place by accident. It could be a freaking disaster, because they're going to make a huge deal out of it. So maybe that already happened to Keanu at something. I've been to a ton of conventions, and 99% of the people are normal people. They're just at a convention, but once in a while, one of the weirdos walks in, and you go, oh no. Because they'll act weird, man. They'll do some weird S. Indie Phantom, I had hover hands after too many beers. Yeah, it's It can be very weird, and I can understand why people who have, I mean, especially someone like Keanu Reeves, he's worth millions and millions of dollars. So you know there are people just like, oh my God, there's Keanu Reeves. Let me see if I can get him to bump into me and push me in down on the sidewalk so I could sue him for $50,000 or something like that. Like that stuff happens because they just have so much money and they're so famous and people are drawn to them. And they act weird and they expect way too much. But yeah. And it's not, and you think it's enough to be a nice guy. It's not with some people. It's just not. They don't care that you're a nice guy. They just don't. So you just have to be, like when I'm in public doing my shtick, I have to be very careful. I'm always a little tense. And I have to be awake and on point and watching everybody. Because you don't know what they're going to do. I've had people come up to my table and just take stuff and walk away, and I have to go, hey, hey, hey. And then they pretend like, what? What's going on? These aren't free? I go, no, they're not free. Please put them back. So, and I'm not talking about little kids. I'm talking about full-grown adults who just walk in and do stuff. JC, weird people can be weird at comic book conventions? How dare you? That reminds me that that web comic creator Randy, I forget his last name. He has TDS really bad, but he put out. Oh, he does something positive, and he put out a bar of soap with his logo, and he gave it away at conventions to people who stunk. Ardent, LOL. I'd rather get a handshake pic with people like Keanu. JC. It's a callback. Yeah, it's. I'm trying to think of a specific weird event that I didn't just tell. But yeah, it's funny too because I worry that I'll be the weirdo going up to a famous person. I was in Chicago at a con, and there were some guys. I can't remember their name. I want to say Opie and Anthony, but it wasn't them. It was another group of guys, and they were doing a show. And then one of the Jackass guys who I recognized was there, and I was talking to him, and I was like, I was watching the Jackass stuff at the time, and so I was really into it. I was like, oh man, you guys are so cool. And but I didn't want to be the a-hole. So that's why, like, whenever I meet famous people, I never ask them for an autograph because I feel weird about doing that anyway. And I never try to ask them for anything. Like, if they offer to take a picture, I'll go, oh yeah, sure, but I'll never ask them. Ardent. Oh, I had a guy try to snatch a piece of woodwork off my table once. He didn't see me until I took it out of his hand. So he said, yeah. Yeah, and I've had tons of people, like, they've taken the book, like, I've signed the book for them, and I've given it to them, and they're still talking to me, and they put the book in their bag, and they start to walk away, and I have to remind them to pay for it. Now, a lot of that is in good faith, just mistakes, because they're excited to be talking, and, you know, they just kind of forget, but I don't know. For a couple of people, I wonder. Number 18 is Speak No Evil. Again, I think I'd rather see the original, but did okay-ish in its 6th week. $500,000, 74 million. Probably didn't cost that much to shoot. It's a lot of outdoor nothing shots, you know, of just what's the name? McAvoy acting weird and aggressive. Number 19 is Rumors. What is Rumors? Oops, I hit the wrong thing. Rumors. Rumors follows the 7 leaders of the world's wealthiest liberal democracies. Oh, maybe I do know this one. At the annual G7 summit, after they become lost in the woods and face increasing peril while attempting to draft a provisional statement regarding a global crisis. Yeah, I think I have seen the trailer for this one. It's odd. No one really gets it. I think it's meant to be a political satire, but just comes off as dopey, elitist BS, I think. Part of the problem with people on the leftist side of politics, they're so far out from reality, their satire misses the mark by a mile and no one's interested in it. I say. Ardent. Fleetwood Mac biopic? Oh. Number 20, Whitebird, A Wonder Story, $310,000. The Forge, somehow still in movie theaters, $115,000. Look Back from G Kids, $92,000. Megalopolis, oof, $73,000 in its fourth week. Ugh, oofa. Here's another disaster, $9 million. Oof. Well, I'll say this for Joker 2, it came close to making its budget back. Jesus, Megalopolis is a mega flopolis. It's bad. I'm kind of embarrassed. I had so much hope for this movie. I still kind of want to see it. That's the worst part. I'll see it on streaming maybe, or at least part of it. Once I start watching it and go, oh, this is why it sucks. I'll just go, okay, I can't watch the rest of this. Like, if you're gonna make a flop, this is why movies need to be short, damn it. There's less pressure for the movie to be good. White Zombie is only an hour long. It doesn't have to be that good. It just doesn't. Megalopolis, how long is that? I'm going to guess 3 hours, close to 3. It's got to be 2.5. Adam Driver's in Megalopolis? Why is Adam Driver in it? 2 hours and 18 minutes. No, not that long. It's over 2 hours. That's still too long. Ardent. Oh, my Twitter's blowing up. What the hell did I do? Worries I might have said something I really shouldn't on my show today. Uh-oh. Did you talk about the Gaza situation? Because that's not good for most YouTubers. Didn't work out well for Asmongold. Kite. Gonna hit the hay. Busy morning. Rock on, Kite. Thanks for stopping by. Ardent Night Kite. Kite, have a great night. JEC, it's a morbid curiosity at best. It's only 2 hours, but legit feels like 6 hours. Jason Schwartzman. God, everybody's in this damn thing. It's crazy. It does look very luxurious now that I see it again. JC, Adam Driver's the star. He's on the poster. Ardent, nah, I don't bother with. Oh, one of the memes. Uh-oh. Indie Phantom, Megalopolis was like a 90s perfume ad with goofiness. Sensual, scentful, Megalopolis. Yeah, Ardent, I said like 2 days ago, my good news, my dog is voting for Trump. Good dog. And a lot of people are retweeting that, and I'm suddenly getting a lot of followers. I think it's from that, but I also signed up for the blue check again because what's the name? Elon had a sale, so I said, "Oh, let me get it. I need to up my engagement on X." Or, with my luck, Trump will lose and then Kamala Harris will shut it down, but we'll see. I don't think so. It ends with us. Still not ending. 55,000 in its 11th week. Am I Racist? Still hanging on at 37,000. Alien Romulus, 19,000. A Different Man, still in theaters, 17,000. The Front Room, 13,000. That's that movie with Monique. The Line. What's this about? I don't even know. The Line. Tom is a scholarship student desperate to break free from his working class background, who is charmed by the prestigious KNA fraternity's promises of high social status and alumni connections that opens doors. But upon beginning a romance with Annabelle, a classmate outside his social circle, and the manipulative schemes of his fraternity president unfolding during the hazing of new members, Tom finds himself ensnared in a perilous game of ambition and loyalty. Maybe. Doesn't sound awful. And then Vindicating Trump, $2,000, dropped by 90%. Oof. Yeah, this, again, more propaganda. This time for Trump as opposed to against Trump, but basically to counteract the other propaganda. Ardent, just checked the notifications on my phone. They all seem to be new followers, so be nice. Is the check mark on sale? Might spring for that. It is, or it was. It was 40% off. JC, it's like Southland Tales mixed with Cosmolopolis by David Cronenberg with a bit of Kurosawa's Ran, but the bad parts of Ran. Interesting. That's another movie, Southland Tales, that I kind of wanted to see when it came out, but I never did. Oh, man, so thirsty now. So thirsty. All right, so that's the box office. 67 million. Oof. Crashing and burning. That is low. It's getting low. I mean, Halloween should kick it up a little. Yeah, just not a lot here that's worth seeing. And the Joker really killed it. I think the Joker really messed up this this box office, because it should be doing better. It should be doing at least 10. But oh well. Oh well. Moving on to this, J.K. Rowling would reject peerage if offered for a third time, so she turned it down twice before. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling said that she turned down 2 offers of peerage after comments by conservative MP stating that she would appoint her to the House of Lords. Interesting. I'm kind of shocked she wouldn't take that. Seems like a cool thing for her to do, but she's probably very busy. JC, Southland Tales is another weird, meandering piece of S, but it's better than Megalopolis. Maybe if Halloween was on the weekend, it would help, but it's in the middle of the week. Yeah, but people will just do stuff on the weekend, so... When is it? Oh, it's Thursday. A Thursday. Yeah, they'll just do stuff in November, or the weekend before. This weekend will be technically Halloween weekend then, I guess, for the parties and whatnot. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised she wouldn't take that, but maybe she just doesn't want to be involved in politics. All right, Variety. Here's Smile 2. It's about a pop singer who gets haunted by the smile demon. They're still talking about One Direction Liam Payne, who still not sure if he killed himself with drugs, or someone killed him with drugs, or he was taking drugs and fell off a balcony. I'm not sure what happened. But nothing good. SNL reveals Alec Baldwin as Brett Baer in spoof of Kamala Harris Fox News interview. You're very sexy when you're angry. Ha 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 ha. Once again, kind of missing the mark. It's a shame, because Alec Baldwin is talented. He's actually very funny. I thought Alec Baldwin was really good on 30 Rock, but I think the TDS has ruined him. Ardent, I'm going to be doing an extra long Skyrim gaming stream on Halloween night. Nothing else going on for me anyway. Ooh, well, tune in for that, fans of Skyrim and Ardent. Indie Phantom, Southland Tales was another one that was destroyed at Con. They recut it to crap, but didn't help the wide release. Huh. I wonder if the actual cut is better, but probably not. House of the Dragon star Matt Smith says he hasn't seen a season 3 script or heard a pitch yet. That's weird. I thought that House of the Dragon was chugging along. Seems like they should be shooting that. All right, moving to Fandom Pulse. DC Comics attacks Jeremy Griggs, D-Day Cobra, from Geeks and Gamers in new Blue Beetle graphic novel. Imagine how weak you have to be as a comic book company to do this. JC, speaking of Halloween, back Evil Comics on Kickstarter. Campaign ends on the 30th at midnight, so Halloween basically. So here is the link to JEC's Kickstarter, everyone. If you'd like to check it out and get yourself a cool comic. He makes cool comics. This is what you need, JEC. You need DC Comics to hate you so much that they put you in one of their comics. So this is D-Day Cobra, who is based, I assume. I don't think I've actually heard him. I think he's been on like Friday Night Tights, and I think I may have caught a couple of clips of him. But yeah, this is bizarre and weird. This is like when the She-Hulk writers kind of went after Doomcock on YouTube. It's just making the YouTubers bigger. Like, it's amazing. I hope someone does this to me in comics or books or something. So everybody goes, oh, that guy's an asshole. I'm going to buy his books. Because that's what seems to happen, right? I've often thought many a times about faking a whole thing. Faking an entire controversy. I've like mapped it out in my brain how I would do it, but it always comes apart when I involve other people, which I would invariably have to do. JC, put a beard on that guy, and that's basically me. I have thinner eyebrows than him. So, can you imagine? You're writing for DC Comics. Even a character as lame as the new Blue Beetle. Oh, God, this looks so bad. This cover looks terrible. It looks awful. What are you doing? But okay, you're still you're writing for a major comic book company. You do anything you want, but you decide to make fun of a YouTuber in hopes of, I guess, his audience buying the comic? Why would they do that to support you? They're going to look at the clips of it like I am, but that's about it. So here's how they own D-Day Cobra. Here's what his character says in the comic, apparently. Unlike the mainstream media, we don't wear makeup, we don't spread lies, we don't have bias, we believe in the truth. The left tries to tell us that multiculturalism is the answer to all of society's problems, yet they criticize us for being men, for being white, for being straight. They want to emasculate you. Is there anything not correct about that? I mean, just asking. What part of that was a lie? So, like, they're putting this in there like, ha, take that, bigots. Is this an own? This isn't even close to an own. JC, Tumblr tier artwork, you giving away these online? Who would buy a book that looks like that? Alex Ogle is here. Hello, evening all. What are comics doing on the film stream? We already went through the box office, so now we're making fun of comics. JC, where's the lie? Yeah. Ardent, no lies detected. Yeah. Like, oh, this is such an own. We're going to pretend like they think that they're being emasculated by their own characters in comics. In Blue Beetle, where this is the cover, a vaguely asexual guy. I mean, what? Huh? And the story's called Land is Our Land. It's a terrible title, too. Indie Phantom, it's a cell phone. Ardent, hello, Alex. Yeah, it's a cell phone. Like, it's pathetic. JC, I mean, you're supposed to accuse your enemy of exactly what you're doing, but it doesn't work when you're doing whatever that is, though. Oh, this guy, I think this guy is supposed to be Eric July, only white. Because that kind of looks like him, only they made him white. Let's see what he makes him say. They're putting alien DNA in the chocolate milk. Ha ha ha. Okay, so that's really cartoonish. So, I don't know what they're doing here. Stupid. Who would buy a DC comic at this point? Again, I just came from a comic book convention. Literally just came from a comic book convention. No one talked about new comics. No one, to my knowledge, had new comics in the room. I don't think there was a single new comic there. Now, I didn't really look at the comics, but a lot of them were old. The vast majority of them were the old stuff. And 50-50 was the split. About 50% of the people were looking at comics. The other 50% were looking at anything else, including my books. So, JC, so it's pro illegal alien story too? I guess. Ardent, might be a mix of Eric July and Gary from Neurotic. Oh, yeah, maybe. Elon Musk takes on woke game companies in town hall saying make video games great again. Yeah, Elon, it doesn't take much to make a video game and you make millions of dollars, dude. Please start a video game division that's based. That would be awesome. And I don't think it would cost you much money. But I know you're very busy. Elon also gave away $1 million, and now he's given away $1 million to anybody. I think you have to be in Pennsylvania, and you have to sign the petition to support free speech and the Second Amendment. But he's giving away a random $1 million to people, which he did the other day. It was crazy. JC, back my new comic. It's not S like whatever there is. This is. Says JC. That's his Kickstarter. Gamers for Harris list of developers gives gamers a handy tool to avoid woke board games and tabletop RPGs. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So check that out. DC Comics destroys the Nightwing character with multiple new woke virtue signal books. Oh, wait till you see this. This is funny and pathetic at the same time, of course. So this is the name of the comic. Nothing but B-U-T-T Nightwing. They didn't make this up. That's the actual comic. So let that sink in for a minute. Ardent, I think the Elon $1 million thing is for anybody who signs up as a registered voter on that petition. Too bad I'm a Canadian. Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to be in Pennsylvania, though. Because I think he's trying to encourage Pennsylvania, but I'm not sure. Ardent, yay. JC, more Tumblr art tear slop. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. You know? And it's like they spent all day on the butt and then let all the rest of the stuff kind of like eke out. And even the butt's not that great. So, sorry, I'm so thirsty now for some reason. Swing State's sorry, says Ardent. So yeah, this is like they're ruining Nightwing. I don't think they made him gay yet, but just a matter of time. But they made him some sort of sex symbol. Oh, I guess they have made him gay. There he is, looking pretty gay. This is the end of Tom Taylor's Nightwing run. Yeah, it's just like DC has gone completely off the reservation, just like Marvel. Although they haven't gone that far, I think there must be a little bit of continuity still left at DC, but not much. Not that it matters. Again, I would fire everybody. I would just go in there and fire everyone and start over. I would hit the hard reset button. I'd say you're all fired. Clean your desk out and don't ever come back here because you're never working here again. And that would be it. And then I would start over. I'd redesign the offices. I'd hire new editors. I'd go through our back catalog, see what we got. Start with brand new talent. Rewrite all the, hit a hard reset on the entire universe and start over. All right, Alex Ogle, my horror film pitch I mentioned last weekend. Sydney Sweeney plays a pizza delivery girl somewhere in New Jersey who is incredibly successful, probably because she delivers in a bikini. One of her coworkers becomes jealous and instructs her to deliver a particularly nasty Piney who curses her so that every delivery she makes, the pizza sprouts pineapple, collapsing her trade. Then a handsome Englishman takes pity on her and helps her out of the bind by encouraging her to diversify her market. They fall in love. Plot twist, her new love is found brutally murdered. Oh no! Alex and a local researcher into the Pineys helps cure her curse and deal with her loss, not revealing to her that he was the murderer. Wow, that's crazy. That's pretty good though. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Yeah, let me see a draft on Tuesday. Better than this. I guarantee you not a single person in the event I just attended for comic books even knows this comic exists. It was 50% like kids and 50% middle-aged guys who collect. That was the entire audience today in the comic book convention. The audience that supposedly exists for this might have been in the cosplayers who were there, of which there were maybe half a dozen today. But those guys weren't buying anything. They were too busy. They spend money on costumes. They don't spend money on comics all that much. Once in a while they buy some because they kind of have to, but... By the way, let me say this again for the record. I'm against young women who are too young to be wearing the Harley Quinn costume, wearing it. If your daughter is below the age, I'm going to say 18. She really shouldn't wear that Harley Quinn costume that Margot Robbie wore in the movie. It's too revealing. There's some kid wearing that costume at one of the events I went to, and I just thought, ooh, that is too revealing for her. She should not be wearing that. It wasn't a good look, and I don't know why her parents would let her go out like that. At least they were with her, but if you're young enough to go trick-or-treating, you're too young to wear that costume, I would say. That costume is strictly for college girls who want to hook up at a Halloween party. That's about all it's good for. It's just too revealing. I sound like a prude, but I mean, this girl was too young to be wearing that, I thought. JC, cosplayers never buy anything. None of them have pockets or carries bags. Obviously, they're not buying anything. Yeah, and the problem I have with cosplayers, not that they're bad people or anything, they're fans, but they're fans that suck the money out of the room, and they suck the attention away. If it's a big show, I don't mind it, because they kind of blend into that, but if it's a small show, it's it's like there's not enough people there to justify too many cosplayers, I would say. But I don't have anything against them per se, but and some of them I say hi to on a regular basis. I'm not knocking them, but it's like maybe go to a bigger con, you know? Alex, trouble with woke comics and writing in general is that it lacks all imagination and engagement. I suspect it is to do with lack of imagination and a desperate urge to be recognized. What else? Yeah, I mean, it's fan fiction is what it is. This is fan fiction. This is the kind of stuff that would get written on the fringes. Ooh, what if Nightwing was hot and he was gay? That and people would say, yeah, whatever, dude. Go write that, I guess, but get away from us. Like, that was the attitude. Now it's like so mainstream. Like, those people don't buy comics. This isn't even sexy enough for those people. These people want like actual porn, but they continue to write this stuff thinking that it's somehow relevant or even popular. They're under the impression this is popular. That's the problem. And that's another reason I'd fire everyone at DC Comics. I would fire them all immediately. I would just be like, you have no clue what fans want at all. They definitely don't want this or anything close to it. You know? No one wants gay Dick Grayson running around beating people up. No one wants that. It's just not something anyone asked for. Ever. So, just make it about a guy who fights crime? Is that so hard to do? Apparently, it's impossible to do with these people. It's utterly impossible. They've got to insert their ridiculous message, which doesn't even go with the character. Like, there's a handful of characters in the DC and Marvel universe you could fit a message in. Like Ollie, Green Arrow. He was always a super progressive character, and he was always fighting for justice, and he was kind of just that way, and it fits his character to some degree. Dick Grayson wasn't like that at all. No, he was happy-go-lucky, the happy-go-lucky duo portion of Batman and Robin, and then he went off on his own, and he's kind of like a happier version of Batman. That's all he is. He's got Batman skills. Well, he's just more well-adjusted. And he dates hot chicks, and he has a good life, generally speaking. Like this, what is this? This is it's just not him. It's just not him. It's just wrong. You could not imagine I would read the riot act to the guy who brought me this pitch. I'd be like, you're fired. First off, obviously you're fired. That would be the first thing I would start with. Okay, before I say anything, you're fired. Clear out your desk. Now let me tell you why. Because this isn't the character at all. Nightwing is nothing like this. He's not gay. He fights crime in Bloodhaven. He's Batman's protege. Okay? Show me, any justification of this, and maybe you could save your job. Oh, I had this idea. Why don't you like ideas? This isn't an idea. This is a terrible, terrible, another twist of the knife in the message. That's all it is. You're just inserting a bunch of LGBTQ nonsense into the comic. There's no audience for this, number one. As far as you can tell, how many gay people even read comics? And how many of those gay people who do read comics insist that all the characters be gay? The answer is very, very low. I would say maybe there's a literal handful, as in like 4 people, who are gay and insist all the characters in the comic be gay. That is a very tiny audience. The audience we used to have was at least in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands, and in the millions at one point. So you're fired. Get out. Do. JC, put the kid in an old school animated Harley costume. Yeah, that would be fine. The Margot Robbie one was just I was just, you shouldn't be wearing that. I mean, short shorts, and like she didn't have, like, sometimes some young girls will wear that costume, but they'll wear leggings, which it's still kind of a revealing costume, but at least if you're wearing leggings and like a bodysuit, it's not as revealing, but she was not wearing that. And I just thought, that is too much for her to wear. Ardent, cosplay isn't cheap either. It's a lot cheaper than it was, I think. I mean, there was a kid who was dressed as Deadpool, and all it was a bodysuit, and then like the thing that he has on his back with the swords, and they were all plastic, but he's got like two katanas and then two sais that go in it, and it's got an X, and then I think he had fake guns maybe. So that one looked pretty store-bought. But yeah, like a real costume is more money. And again, not to slam anybody, but I think you need to be in shape to be certain characters, or you should try to be. And if you can't be in shape, then you should probably pick a different character that sort of fits your body type. You know what I mean? There's just too many heavyset guys trying to wear like skin tight costumes. And it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. Like, if you're gonna wear this Nightwing costume, you got to be in shape. You got to be in amazing shape too. You can't, like, I'm not in shape. I wouldn't wear it. My gut would be hanging out. It would look terrible. No. Wear something that makes sense. If you're heavy set, you got to wear like an overcoat or something like an overcoat or something in black that'll hide most of the fat. And then that's something that's tailored that looks good. There are characters who wear suits in many different comics. They carry a katana and they wear a suit. Like John Wick. Like John Wick is a costume most guys can pull off simply because he's in a suit and he looks nice. So think on that, cosplayers. Alex at Ardent, cosplay done right isn't cheap, but just dressing up can be done on the cheap. Indie Phantom, that was the only good part of Suicide Squad, and they ruined her look in the next one. Ardent, fair point. Alex, a better idea. Grayson contracts a terrible mutant STD and transforms into Blightwing. JC, Green Arrow was basically Robin Hood. It fits him to be a lefty. Yeah. I mean, you still can't go that far down the rabbit hole with the politics, but sure. He could be very anti-state, anti-authoritarian, but it should be anti-authoritarian too. It's not the right of this era. Alex Ogle, I've recently read a book of a collection of essays by Isaiah Berlin. He mentioned that there is a troubling tendency for people to prefer to be oppressed and recognized than free and ignored. Huh. Maybe, yeah. Ardent, if everyone is the same, no one is special. True. Alex, woke writers would rather be hated for bad content but recognized for it than produce something competent but forgettable. Yeah, I just wouldn't even hire these guys, though. I don't think they're competent. I don't think you can get a competent guy to write these progressive stories. Because a competent guy would just go, this doesn't make any sense. Like, we shouldn't do this. He would immediately steer out of this for a number of reasons. Alex Ogle at JEC, careful with the Robin Hood references. The American tales of Robin Hood are very different than the original Geste. Gist? Ardent, LOL, chubby scarecrow doesn't work. Zevic's demise is here. I'm picking Jabba the Hutt to cosplay. Well, there you go. Ardent, LOL, I'd go as the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants Blob. Or Armstrong, I've got the build for that. Yeah, I mean, there are a million characters. You pick one that's that suit you. You know, you don't pick, like, Spider-Man's another one. You gotta be in shape for Spider-Man, or you'll be skinny as hell. Like, if you're skinny, you can pull it off. You can't pull it off if you're even a little fat. Let's see. Oh, they're coming in fast and furious now. Ardent, and now the Twitter DM scam bots have noticed me. Uh-oh. JC, people have tried to draw woke stuff. Their scripts don't even make sense. Alex Ogle, comic pitch, nothing but right-wing. Hero who smokes cigarettes and is capable of archery combats wokery by strapping up green-haired activists to butts and flicking cigarette butts at them. Yeah, I could see that. That sounds fun. Nothing but right-wing. That would be funny. It'd be funny just to do the right-wing comic, right? It's Nightwing, except he's just super right-wing. Be funny. He's just super based, running around being conservative all the time. All right, Hollywood Reporter. Ardent, LOL. CBS says Watson modern day twist on Sherlock Holmes opens MIPCOM. It might be okay, I guess. Jennifer Lawrence is pregnant, set to welcome second baby with Cook Maroney. Not surprised she got pregnant. Schwimmer, David Schwimmer, may be out of his mind in Goosebumps The Vanishing trailer. I guess there's going to be another one of that. Ardent, combined Falcon, Captain America, and Nightwing for right wing. There you go. Nothing much here. Well, let's get the latest update from James Gunn. Looks like he's got Creature Commandos going here. Let's see. Oh, I guess he's got a trailer. Creatures Commandos, it's not really doing anything for me. What else? Oh, so they don't have any pictures, the other one. So we're going to have second season of Peacemaker, which I refuse to watch. The Superman movie, Supergirl movie, Lanterns, which I think is doomed because David Lindelof, the antichrist of screenwriters, in my opinion, is working on it. So maybe Superman, maybe Supergirl for me. Zevik's demise, good for her. Ardent, oh, Catwoman's new costume is garbage. Screen Rant. Okay, go over there and see that. Okay. Catwoman's new. Let's see. Is there a search function on this thing? Yes. Catwoman's new costume is revealed. All right. Is that it? Oh, this is it, I guess. Can't really see much. Well, let me expand it. I mean, it just looks like Catwoman, I guess. Might be a bit older. I mean, that's the old one, right? Or which was the actual old one, but then they switched it and then they went back to this. Is this it? Maybe this is it? So, I mean, it's fine, I guess. I don't know. If the woke-tards have their way, I assume Catwoman will be taking the place of Batman very shortly. Ardent might be a bit older. Yeah, they gave her a boob window and shoulder pads. Alex Ogle, would Japanese Catwoman be dressed like Hello Kitty? Indie Phantom, James Gunn's DCU is all about bad costumes so far. They're not great. Ardent, there's a set of thumbnails below the first one that you can blow up. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, just a bodysuit. Not particularly interesting or good, I would say. The only thing interesting about Catwoman is that she's hot and she's in a tight costume. Right? I mean, and I just don't understand the focus on Cat. Well, I kind of understand it because they keep trying to focus on the villains because they're trying to spin off other IPs. This was the only IP that had a chance, by the way, at spinning off, because at least Catwoman wasn't a total criminal. You could probably do, I mean, the other characters, like doing a spin-off of the Penguin, it's got limited appeal, I think. But it's doing well. I kind of still want to watch it. Catwoman, I think, had a better chance if you could get something going there. Because she can be sort of good and then redeemable kind of character. The Penguin, not so much. All right, moving on to... What the hell is this? Oh, that's Fright Night. This is Bounding in the Comics. What else happened here? Oh, The Electric State looks like a blockbuster, but Netflix is still unyielding. Yeah, I don't think it looks like a blockbuster. It looks fine. Chris Pratt's new movie. If you haven't seen the trailer, I did a thing on it. It looks pretty good. It could be good. Could be really good, but we'll see. I don't like Millie Bobby Brown. I'm going to just say it. I don't like her. I kind of tolerated her in Stranger Things in the beginning, but then when she grew her hair and then became more and more of a character, kind of just grew to more and more dislike her. And then she made Damsel look god-awful. Now I just kind of go, I see her and I kind of go, I'm really not interested in seeing you. But whatever. Ardent, I disliked it because it's so boring and they coom over it. Ew. Ardent, yeah, Catwoman has a great potential for redemption arc, but relapses under crisis. Yeah. Indie Phantom, the Penguin show just seemed a little boring and I didn't care. I mean, like, it's possible you could do a mafia thing with it, but but that's not Batman. It's like, Jesus, just make a Batman show. I get it. Robert Pattinson is a big star. You're going to have to drive the money truck to him. But, Colin Farrell's no slouch. Drive the damn money trucks to both these guys' houses and you have a guaranteed money spigot. Okay? You'll be able to pay him and the TV show will make gazillions of dollars. I mean, think about it. Think about a 1-hour Batman TV show on HBO Max. Think about that for a minute. Starring Robert Pattinson, Colin Farrell, variety of other actors, directed by Matt Reeves. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, not whatever he wants, but he could do what he did in the movie. It would be friggin' fantastic. Right? If he followed that, that world, that Batman Gotham he was building, and just start introducing all the characters and have Pattinson fighting them every week. And then once in a while you can have an episode where Pattinson's not in it. Takes a show off and then you could do a whole episode with the Penguin or whoever. I don't care. But give us a Batman show. Give us a Batman show. If you did that, that would be something I would go, I think I got to buy HBO Max. Now I have it for free, but if I didn't have it and you told me the Robert Pattinson Batman, who I've already seen in the movies, was in it and the star and they're just going to continue from the movie, oh my God. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to rent this friggin' channel because I want to see that Batman. Even if I only rented it for a month and blasted through the episodes, you're damn right I would rent it. I'd be happy to pay that money. Do you hear that, Warner Brothers? This is me talking. The most cynical, human being when it comes to movies and television and spending any kind of money on entertainment. I'm all in if you had done that. So why not do it? If you could get me, the hardest audience in the world, wouldn't you get everybody else? My God, you would have so many people watching HBO Max. It would kill the site. It would collapse the site. You would have 100. You would surpass Netflix. You'd zoom right past Disney. And then, as Batman got bigger and bigger and crazier, because it would, you'd be 5 seasons in. It would be utterly nuts. You'd have a bazillion Batman characters running around, and Catwoman would be one of them. Then you could finally go, oh, you know what? Let's spin off Catwoman into her own show. See how that goes. And then people would be going nuts again. They'd be like, oh yeah, I got to watch the Catwoman show. Now you got 2 shows. I can do everything for these guys. Indie Phantom. I could not get into Stranger Things. Another one, I lasted about 3 episodes. I love the first season because it spoke to me for the nostalgia. Second season, immediately I started to go, oh, this is getting tiresome. Third season, I was like out after the first episode. I was like, I feel like I'm being jerked around here. What the hell happened? Ardent. If you're going to do a mafia character drama based on a comic character, you need to beat D'Onofrio's Kingpin from the Netflix Daredevil. That is true. Alex at Indie Phantom. That's a shame. I was going to watch it on Crave. I suppose. I still might, but I'm working my way through very old episodes of Space Above and Beyond. Indie Phantom. I would not pay to watch it, but that's just how I roll. Alex Ogle. Pay attention, HBO Max. You've effectively put pineapple on pizza to keep Tony away. Yeah. Indie Phantom. It's not a TV guy, though. Watch a few shows here and there. Alex Ogle at Indie Phantom. Yes, I too have fallen out of TV habits. I don't much miss it. Yeah, so have I. But here's another thing you could do. It's just what I want to do with the Pineys. Instead of making 10 one-hour episodes, make 6 Batman movies. 90 minutes each. And spread them out 2 months apart. And show them during the course of the year. Make a trailer for each one. You know, each movie has a different member of the Rogues Gallery, and it continues from the previous movie. You could do that for 10 seasons easy. 10 seasons easy. Indie Phantom. I want to watch Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn as it has a good source material and Florida setting. I hear it's good. New series. Yeah, it looks cool. I mean, Vince Vaughn looks like he's in his element there. Asmongold, by the way, apologized for declaring that Palestinians are terrible people and come from an inferior culture. It's a bit strong, dude. You know, I always say never explain, never apologize, but I, of course, wouldn't say stuff like that. Ardent, Crave is too damn expensive. I am not adding $30 a month to my bills just for a few episodes a month. Crave is $30 a month? What the hell's on it? Indie Phantom. Alex, it has to all change so much. It has all changed so much. Yeah. Everybody's out of the habit of watching TV. Except people older than me. My older relatives are still watching TV. I know. It's kind of hard to imagine, but it's true. They don't know anything else, and they can't do YouTube. They just can't. They just don't get it. It's too much. They're overwhelmed by it. They kind of sit down and they start watching it, and they go, I don't really get this. And I try to explain to them, look, you can watch anything you want at any time. You even watch clips of shows that you watch on TV. And it's like almost too much to process. JC, I never watched TV. I spent 3 hours watching three nerds talk about UBIK by Philip K. Dick today. What do I need TV for? Yeah. Alex at Ardent, yes, you're right. I get it free with my Bell Interest subscription. Rather, they jack up the subscription price to cover it. Huh. Ardent, I think there's a contradiction in the streaming industry coming, or a contraction in the streaming industry coming. Crave is the only way to get HBO content in Canada legally. Oh, interesting. For some reason, they gave me Max free with my phone, and I don't pay for it ever, and it's been years now. Ardent at Alex, yeah, I was thinking that I'd add it to my Prime subscription, but not for so much. Alex, I spoke with my mother earlier, and she was settling down to Strictly Come Dancing on the BBC. Bread and circuses. Sure, I but that's the stuff I used to watch too. I mean, I used to watch TV all the time. I was a TV kid. I grew up on TV, and now I look back on it and I just go, it was a different time. We didn't have internet. Damn it. And almost from the moment we got it, I slowly got off of TV. And now I'm completely off of it. I literally can barely watch TV. Sometimes people put it on and I get a little distracted. I used to be completely hypnotized by TV. Now it's just like, I don't know if I could watch a full episode of anything anymore. Unless it's amazing. Ardent, LOL, BBC hasn't been worth my time since they ditched Clarkson. And destroyed Doctor Who. Don't forget that. Deadline, otherwise known as Variety 2.0. So here's Terrifier 3. They're talking about that. Alec Baldwin on SNL. It's all the same stuff. SNL. I'm going to talk about that. Gladiator 2 first reactions call Ridley Scott's sequel unhinged, deliciously cinematic, and Machiavellian. Can't believe Ridley pulled this off. Well, that'd be good if he went back to his roots of being good. Ardent, only time I watch TV is Jeopardy with my mother occasionally. Alex at Ardent, they unbusied Clarkson, and now he's busier than ever. Meanwhile, Top Gear is ended. He is, I believe, Clarkson had to go in for emergency heart surgery, by the way. So I wish him well. I was never a Top Gear guy. I never really watched the show. I've seen clips. Looks cool. Indie Phantom, my parents have TV and they barely watch it. They both go hard on YouTube. Oh, wow. Interesting. Ardent, Doctor Who, didn't they stop making that about a week after the Capaldi started? Well, they stopped making the ones that were any good, yes. But, yeah, there's some gay black dude who's Doctor Who now. And he is terrible in my view. Ardent, yeah, a lot covered that story today. I hope Clarkson does well. Yeah, me too. Let's see. Man, nothing here. Okay, here's more on Nora, that movie I said, without the intimacy coordinator. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, red carpet photos, Cher, Zendaya, and more. They're going to put Zendaya in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I couldn't name one Zendaya song. She even have a hit? It's weird. Dua Lipa? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is an utter joke. It is dumb as the South Park episode about the comedy awards. It is about as much sense as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame makes about as much sense as the comedy awards. If there's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's no longer rock and roll. Everybody in it should have turned down the award. I mean, you're talking about a sub-genre music that used to be rebellious, that nobody wanted to listen, nobody wanted to promote or put on TV or whatever. Now they make whole museums to it. It's ridiculous. I've lost my place. Okay. Almost. Oh, that's what you said. Yeah, almost covered that story today. Hope Clarkson does well. Indie Phantom, true story. Apparently, Sydney Sweeney made news today for stopping a burglar. I know. I saw that one too. Yeah, I'd stop for her. Right? You're robbing a house and this hot chick comes in. And you just go, "Oh, hey, hey, how you doing? Yeah, you might have noticed I'm robbing your house, but I don't have to. Maybe you and I could go out. I got the money for it now. Oh, I mean, it's the least I could do is take you out to dinner." Let's see. Lost my place again. Oh, at Ardent. Alex at Ardent. Such a shame. Colin Baker was my favorite doctor. Capaldi was very nearly good. Both suffered from appalling writing. If I were burglaring a place and Sydney Sweeney intervened, I'd stop everything. Yeah, me too. Ardent at Alex Ogle. I'm unapologetic in my enjoyment of a cliche Eccleston's doctor. Alex Ogle. Well, I might be doing something buzzing. Indie Phantom. Yeah, good point, Alex. Ardent. I'd attempt to serenade her. If nothing else, my caterwauling would keep her distracted and let me escape. Alex at Ardent. Heretic. The good thing with Eccles is the name is the cake. Alex. The only good. JEC. Girls love bad boys. JC. Mean doctor who never works. All right. Moving on to Bleeding Fool. Woke or nope, Disney working on a Prince Charming movie. Here, talk about something you definitely don't need, Disney. Jesus Christ. Who the hell is this for? Who the hell is going to see a Prince Charming movie? I guess you can get Jason Momoa to take off his shirt for 90 minutes and get the girls to see it, I guess. I don't know. All sounds stupid. Sony at New York City Comic Con shows off Karate Kid Legends first look, Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3. Ardent. Oh, that's gonna suck. Yeah. Just looks like no. Big no. Big no for me, dog. Oh, here was a story of this week. Seinfeld shamed into retracting his assertion that wokeness damaged comedy. This was quite disappointing to see Seinfeld backpedal on this. I thought, oh man, Jerry sounded based. Now I'm like, oh great, they got to him too. How much money do you need to say no to these people? You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars, Jerry. Just let it go. Alex, Prince Charming will be cast as Jay Baruchel? Really? He better start lifting some weights. Ardent, you thought Nightwing was ruined. Check out the Hawkeye story. Oh yeah. Yeah, this was this week too. So Hawkeye, Marvel's new Hawkeye, is a non-binary two-spirit Native American, everyone. Yes, that's just what we needed. A non-binary two-spirit Native American. No one knows what that is. Literally, no one knows what that is. At this point, they're just picking out genders out of a hat. Oh, look, you got the non-binary two-spirit Native American. Oh, really? Do I have to do that? Yes, or you're fired. So yeah. Ardent at Alex. Wahaha. Yeah, everything looks terrible. Everything looks terrible. Thanks for the update, Bleeding Fool. Speaking of terrible, the rap. And of course, the rap is all about movies, but the lead story is Bizwan Oda's claims of the IDF executing Palestinians prompt calls new calls to rescind her Emmy. Okay. Equalizer season 5 release schedule. When do new episodes come out? Oh, please let me know so I can avoid those as well. This is the one with the Queen Latifah as the Equalizer. Because, you know, the Equalizer apparently ate a lot of cupcakes. Ardent, LOL, there was an alphabet acronym in the article. I covered it today that I tried to research 3 different times before realizing there was a typo in it. Oh, boy. Boy, the rap is just nothing. I don't even know why I stop here. And finally, Cosmic Book News. Marvel's Agatha ratings fall short of the Alkalite. Imagine that. Imagine not even rising to the level of the Alkalite. Oof. Ardent, Queen Latifah's Equalizer has the most accommodating stuntmen. I can imagine. Has anybody watched this Agatha show? God, it's another thing Aubrey Plaza's in that I go, why? I mean, it would have been perfect, a show about witches to put Aubrey Plaza, but Ardent, oof. As poor, I feel bad for Catherine Hahn. I do. She doesn't seem to be all that political. She's actually very funny. She's kind of hot. And it's like, this is the show they put her in. And they give her big opportunity. And, like, she can't even be funny. Like, this show probably could have worked as a balls-out comedy. If, like, there was any comedy writers left in Hollywood that weren't completely neutered at this point. But not a chance. Not a chance at Disney, I would say. Ardent, only hate watchers, I think. Yeah, I don't... Who is this for? Who is this for? Oh, I love witches. Especially witches that are from comic books. That aren't accurate to the comic book or witchcraft. I love that. It's accurate to nothing. I need a show that's accurate to nothing. Do you have that, Disney? And can you put it on your stupid channel so I could pay a premium monthly to see it? Very slowly, over a period of time? I mean, why? Why would you ever get Disney Plus? I just don't get it. Disney cancels Marvel's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Shocker there. After 2 seasons. That thing went 2 seasons? Wow. DC Comics announces Batman Hush 2. Peacemaker Vertigo returns. Godzilla vs. Justice League 2. Yep, just keep going back to the well, DC, I guess. Ardent, Han is a funny actress. If they made something like a cross between the Creeper in a Porky's Blues Brothers style, it would work. Yeah, if they just made it funny. I mean, you know, give me that show. I'll write you a funny script. It'd be hilarious, but... And I could keep the same basic plot, too. But it would have to be actually funny. And they just don't approve that in Hollywood. Superman, David Cornsweet, is going to blow people the F away, says Gunn. See what happens when you stop in the middle of a quote? Hey, that headline got cut off. Oh, no. What is David Cornsweet doing? James Gunn drops off Supergirl, confirms Ruthie. Is she going to blow people the F away as well? I cracked myself up. Alex Ogle, normalize the term Berdache for two-spirit. It's the original French term used to describe them when they were first encountered by travelers. Berdache. Berdache by Chanel. You could smell like both spirits too. Berdache. Berdache. Berdache by Chanel. Ardent. Not allowed to be truly funny anymore. Might offend someone. Yeah. Yes. Which is weird too, because that all stemmed from Twitter, right? All the cancel culture stemmed from Twitter, and Twitter isn't that way anymore. It's becoming less and less like that every single day. So, you know, now people, you can try to cancel somebody on X, but now it doesn't really work. Like, there's too many people who were all full of themselves canceling themselves or canceling others, but now that doesn't work as well. It still kind of works, I guess, in certain realms, but not like it used to. Ardent. I prefer Badish to frig off big axe. Badish. Here's the Creature Commandos. I don't really care about them. It's just, eh. Star Trek Strange New World Season 3 release. Clip. Rise Darby guest starring. Rise Darby? He's a funny dude. But okay. I assume he plays an alien. Star Trek Starfleet Academy renewed for Season 2. Did this thing even air? I hadn't heard anything about it. Tatiana Maslany revealed as a reoccurring guest star. Season 1 now filming. Oh, it's now filming. Tatiana Maslany. She-Hulk will be on Starfleet now. It's a shame. She's a good actress. Ardent. LOL. If people tried to cancel me on Twitter, I'd pay the check for that day. Star Trek Lower Decks pays homage to the Final Frontier. Don't care. So don't care about that show. Paramount Plus announces Star Trek Section 31 original movie to premiere January 24th. The dumping ground for movies, even on streaming. I don't think this is going to be any good, but okay. Cartoon Network shows off Ayanu Nigerian superhero series. It's an adaptation of a Dark Horse comic. Unique Studios popular graphic novel? Maybe. Yeah, like this is, to me, if you were going to do black superheroes, you'd do one like this. That sounds like kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to be like super woke or whatever, but like at least you're not swapping, you're not race swapping some established character. Alex Ogle, that Star Trek horse is long since dead. The trouble is CBS aren't even whipping the corpse correctly. They're just tickling it. Yeah, they're still in like negotiations. A lot of it will finally come crashing down when the new owners finally take control of Paramount. And then you may see some changes then. Because I think they're going to finally get rid of Kurtzman, who has been effing it up, I'd say. Ardent. Section 31 was killed off on DS9 and should have been left in the grave. Yes. Yes, it should have. And I think that's about it. Fellows. And ran out of stuff. Not a lot going on this week in movies in Hollywood. Feel free to bring up any topic you want, but I think I'm going to start wrapping it up. What have we learned today? Well, we learned the movie industry is still in the toilet. Joker 2 has really, really, really tanked. And some other movies too. We learned that Sydney Sweeney, as always, brightens up anyone's movie. What else? What else did we learn? We learned that my little dog Still won't let me sleep. Just kept waking me up 3 times to go to the bathroom. 3 times. Some new record. Like the first time, sure. Gotta go, you gotta go. Second time, it's like, how could you have to go again? Like it was only 2 hours later. Third time, it's like, no. There's no way you have to go again. I mean, she has a tiny little bladder, but come on. Alex Ogle, fellas, are you assuming my gender expression this week? Oh no. Indie Phantom, Joker 2 will fail on streaming too. Probably. JC, only thing worth talking about is in media is Evil Comics on Kickstarter, back today, and the links below. Ardent, we learned that nostalgia is the asylum for those with taste. Look at you with the quotable of the day. That's pretty good quotable. Pretty good quotable. Alex at Ardent, nostalgia ain't what it used to be. Nice. Nice. So what's going on with me this week? Oh, I got a lot of stuff going on this week. Let me talk about that. All right. So tomorrow I'm doing and you guys can watch this if you want, I'm doing a virtual talk for the Mercer County Library. So I'll be doing my talk, if you haven't seen it, The Hunt for the Jersey Devil, online. You got to register, though, in advance. It's at 6:30 East Coast Standard Time. Ardent, we also learned that DC has no friggin' idea what they're doing. Oh, yeah, we definitely learned that. We learn that almost every week. Either Marvel or DC has no sense of what they're doing, and no one's talking about it at the comic book shows, if you can imagine. Let's see. Then after Mercer County on Monday, on Tuesday, I'm going to the Summers Point Historical Society at the Summers Mansion in Summers Point, New Jersey. How to Hunt the Jersey Devil. This is at 7 p.m. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, because it's kind of a big deal for this particular historical society. And everything the stars have aligned, and I'm getting my Amazon box tomorrow, so I'll have plenty of books. Ardent, we also learned that DC has no friggin' oh, we did that one. Indie Phantom, have a good night, all. Have a good night. Then on Wednesday, I will be at, listen to this. I'm going all the way to Shrewsbury, New Jersey. Alex Ogle, we learned that pineapple on pizza can be the subject of a passable horror movie until the audience realizes that's where it belongs. So Wednesday, I'm going to Shrewsbury, New Jersey, and then in the afternoon, I'm doing Sunrise at Shrewsbury, and I'm doing a talk there. Then I'm driving to Wall, New Jersey, to do another talk at 6. So we timed that so I could do both talks on the same day. So that's going to be a big day. Then on Thursday, I'm going to meet the author night at the Women's Club in Vineland, New Jersey at 6 p.m. Then on Friday, I'm at the Autumn Lake Healthcare at Voorhees. That'll be nice and close. That's near me, to do my talk in the early afternoon. Then the weekend, I'm doing Jersey Devil Homecoming in Bordentown, New Jersey. This is going to be big. Oh, that's the same night. Yeah, that's on Friday night. So I'm doing Voorhees in the day, and then I'm going to Jersey Devil Homecoming at night on Friday. Then on Saturday, I'm doing South Jersey Geek Fest at Gateway Regional High School from 10 to 4. That's a big one for me. Then on Sunday, I'm going to the Triple Oaks Fall Fest from 11 to 4. Then on Monday, I'm going to the Morristown Library to do a talk. And then I have finally a day off. Ardent, oh, I have a new design in my Redbubble store, a Halloween design if you're interested. All right, so take a look at that. So we got 2. Let's look at the links before we go. So I have a little time here. All right, we'll look at, this is Evil Comics. This is JEC's comic. So you can play the video here. You can see Oh, he's already at $8,500. He's got 158 backers. Congrats. Congrats. So check out that. So 10 days to go. And then we'll check out Ardent's Redbubble thing. Here we go. I devoured your great pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Mwahaha. So is that a t-shirt? That looks pretty cool. It is. So cool Halloween t-shirt over at Redbubble if you want to check it out. You could also check out my Redbubble store as well. The link is somewhere. I don't know. Alex Ogle, Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury? Berry or Bury? Bury, sorry. Shrewsbury. It's definitely Shrewsbury, not Berry. Ardent at J, good on ya. Ardent, shirts, yeah. Yeah, it's Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury. So that's my long list of events for next week. So it's going to be a long week. So that's Sunday. I should be on time with the live stream because I'm doing a thing at 11 to 4, so I should have time to get home. And then that Tuesday, don't even talk to me because I'm taking the day off. Going to relax and try to get some shut-eye, probably. Now what? You sent me another link? Oh, and he's got stickers too. Ardent has stickers as well. Oh, there's mine. I forgot about this. This is my Redbubble store. So I forgot. I forgot we did this one. So there's the thing. You can get shirts. My job is a joke. This is all at the Web Comic Factory store. And you get Web Comic Factory merchandise. You can get the whole thing. So, and where's the rest of them? Where's my store? Can never find my store in this thing. I haven't logged in God knows how long. I gotta click here. Okay, yeah. Here's all the stuff in my store. So I got Piney Power shirt. My job is a joke shirt. The pork roll shirt. The I hate my kids shirt. Web Comic Factory shirt, and of course the pizza pillow. It's a pillow. It doesn't smell like pizza, but it looks like pizza. Okay? And I invented it. So I think it looks delicious. So imagine putting your head down on a piece of pizza. It's comforting, I think, and it's aesthetically pleasing. And you'll notice no pineapple. No pineapple whatsoever. All right. So that's it. That's it for me, Tony D. Thank you, Ardent. Thank you for that. I'm going to wrap it here. Let's get everything up here. Ardent, LOL, leave a slice on it long enough. It smells like pizza. Yeah. There's an idea. There's an idea. All right. I'm going to wrap it here. Go check to see what Little Joan's doing. I got to take her for a WALK. Later all, says Ardent. Later all. So see you next week, and we'll see you in the next one. End stream.